The word Pro used to mean something. Premium design, better displays, faster performance, and the best cameras. But now, it's using aluminum, just like the iPhone 17. The ProMotion display has Pro in the name, but now every iPhone model uses the exact same display, just in different sizes. The Pro chip has more RAM and one additional GPU core, but is that difference actually noticeable in real-world use? And now every iPhone has a 48 megapixel main camera. The iPhone 17 also shares the same 48 megapixel ultra-wide, leaving the iPhone 17 Pro with just one additional camera, the 48 megapixel telephoto. With each passing year, more and more features that were once exclusive to the Pro models have trickled down to the non-Pro iPhones. And let me be clear, I think that's a good thing. The iPhone 17 has become an insanely good value, but it leaves me wondering, is the iPhone 17 Pro still worth the $300 price jump? And its Pro name? In this video, I'll break down my experience with the iPhone 17 Pro, covering the design, performance, and cameras to help you decide if this phone is right for you. But first, a word from today's video sponsor, MOFT. Sometimes it's not just the specs inside a phone that makes it pro, it's how you use it. And MOFT's Snap Studio gift box is full of accessories that make any iPhone more professional, starting with the MOFT case made with vegan leather in this beautiful Misty Cove color. The Snapfield wallet has enough space to carry 8 credit cards, coins and cash, and even an extra space for a SIM card or ejector tool. The pull tab makes it super easy to find the card you're looking for, and the MagSafe connection keeps the wallet nice and secure. It even has a hidden kickstand to prop up your phone in either portrait or landscape. MagSafe also makes it easy to swap accessories like the Snap Tripod Stand, which has a compartment for holding a couple of cards and can also be unfolded into a versatile tripod with a few different modes. Floating mode is great for capturing close-ups, taking group photos, or even just watching a show. Vlogging mode transforms it into a selfie stick, which is perfect for the new dual camera video mode. And stand mode is great for a lower angle view when using the phone or while charging. Then there's the Everywhere lanyard, which is perfect for keeping your hands free when on the go or during an extensive photo shoot. And finally, there's the Snap Duo watch band, which is reversible and can be mixed and matched to create 4 different color combinations. Plus, the magnetic strap is super satisfying to use. If you want to check out the Snap Studio gift box or any of MOFT's accessories, I'll leave a link in the description below. Big thanks to them for sponsoring, and now let's get back to the video. Let's start with the design. It's one of the most noticeable changes with this phone, and for me, one of the most disappointing. I've been part of Apple's iPhone upgrade program for the past couple of years, so I've had experience with previous Pro models, and while I do love the look of this new design with the larger camera plateau and ceramic shield cutout, there's just no denying aluminum feels a lot less premium compared to titanium or even stainless steel. The back feels a bit more curved than previous generations, which does make it pretty comfortable to hold, but it's also a bit more slippery than past models. Combined with the fact aluminum is a lot less durable, and you've got a phone that can get damaged pretty easily and quickly. So I would definitely recommend using a case with this phone, which isn't exactly ideal given just how thick it is without a case. It also doesn't help that I've been using the iPhone Air alongside this phone for the past month. If the Air didn't exist, I may not care as much how thick this phone is, but anytime I put down the Air and pick up the Pro, it feels like I'm picking up a brick. And ironically, even with a case, the iPhone Air still feels impossibly thin, but given how durable it is, I'm very comfortable using it without a case. I do not feel that way about the Pro at all. There are of course some benefits with the switch to aluminum. For example, these are the first Pro iPhones to have really vibrant color options, or more so, one really vibrant color option. Cosmic Orange is definitely a polarizing color option this year. You either love it or hate it. I'm in the love it camp, but I can't deny the silver looks really clean. The deep blue is just there to upset people who wanted a black iPhone. One cool thing Apple added to iOS 26 this year is the ability to tint your home screen icons based on the color of your phone, which I actually really like. The other benefit to using aluminum is it's much better at dissipating heat, which was a big focus with these new Pro models. One of the major new features exclusive to the 17 Pro is a vapor chamber cooling system that lies on top of the A19 Pro chip. There's a little bit of water sealed inside this chamber, which helps move heat away from the chip, where it is then spread throughout the phone and released through the aluminum unibody. The main benefit to this is not just keeping the phone cool to the touch, but also keeping the A19 Pro chip cooler, because when that starts to heat up, that's when performance is throttled. I'll be completely honest with you, I haven't been running extensive tests or benchmarks. I've just been using my phone the way I normally do. For typical everyday tasks, this phone performs extremely well. If there's any issues with performance, I'd say it's more so related to bugs with iOS 26, but not the processor. The only way most people will see a noticeable difference is if you're coming from a much older iPhone, or if you're someone who really pushes the limits of this device. For example, if you're a heavy mobile gamer, I would imagine Apple's claims of longer sustained performance would start to apply here. I've hardly ever gotten this phone to get warm. It really only happens during prolonged filming or photo sessions, but it's never been uncomfortable or impacted my ability to keep shooting, and it does cool off pretty quickly once you're finished. Now, beyond the thermal performance, there's a couple other things you should know about the A19 Pro chip inside these phones. The iPhone Air also has an A19 Pro chip, but that version only has 5 GPU cores, whereas the 17 Pro has 6 cores. Each GPU core also has a neural accelerator built in, which helps with AI-intensive workloads. I haven't seen much difference with the AI capabilities on this device yet, but that's not to say there won't be a noticeable difference in the future as Apple continues their slow rollout of Apple Intelligence. One other benefit of the A19 Pro chip is it now has 12 GB of RAM compared to the 8 GB inside the iPhone 17. These are things that should add to the longevity of this phone, but don't exactly have a noticeable impact today. Something that is more noticeable though is the battery life. It's not just the efficiency of the A19 Pro chip, but the much larger batteries inside these phones that contribute to the increased battery life. Now, something to note is the size of the battery depends on which model you get. Firstly, the smaller 17 Pros of course have a smaller battery compared to the larger iPhone 17 Pro Max, but another factor is whether or not you have an eSIM only model. 17 Pros with a physical SIM card slot will have slightly smaller batteries compared to the eSIM only versions, but I don't think the difference will be too significant. According to Apple, the eSIM only models provide an additional 2 hours of video playback per charge for a total battery life of 39 hours on the 17 Pro Max, but those numbers are a bit misleading. In real-world usage, you're not going to be getting nearly that much battery life out of this phone, but it's still a fantastic battery. It's very easy for me to go a full day without ever getting a low battery notification. In fact, one of these days really jumped out to me and I'm kind of embarrassed to share it, but I took my phone off the charger at 6 a.m. and streamed a whole lot of YouTube videos that day, and it took until after 11 p.m. for it to finally dip below 20%. Most days I never see below 40%, and again, I'm a heavy consumer of YouTube. So far, there hasn't been too much here that separates the Pro models from the non-Pro iPhones, but let's move on to what has always been the biggest differentiator, the camera system. I already mentioned that every iPhone now comes with a 48 megapixel main camera, but they're not the same camera. The Pro has a larger main sensor with a focal length equivalent of 24 millimeters. This means the Pro captures a slightly wider field of view and performs better in low light situations. The ultra-wide camera on the 17 and 17 Pro is exactly the same, but the telephoto still remains exclusive to the Pro models. This year, Apple switched from a 5x telephoto to a 4x telephoto, and this is the first time the telephoto lens is utilizing a 48 megapixel sensor, which means it's also what Apple calls a fusion camera. Essentially, they crop into the middle 12 megapixels of the sensor and run it through its own dedicated image pipeline to create the equivalent of an 8x telephoto lens. I think this was a great switch. The 5x telephoto on the iPhone 16 Pro was typically more zoom than I wanted, so having 4x as the default is much better, and for those times where I want a little more range, being able to shoot at 8x has been awesome. You can digitally zoom in up to 40x now when taking photos and 25x when taking videos, but the end result of those shots aren't going to be anything super impressive. There is one other difference with this camera system that almost never gets talked about, and that's the LiDAR sensor. I didn't even realize it until recently, but this sensor is used to improve autofocus speeds, especially in low light situations. Other than that, it can allow for more advanced augmented reality experiences, which may be useful for some of you, but it's not something I've really messed around with all that much. The other major difference with this Pro camera system is all the additional formats you have available. For photography, you have access to the Pro RAW format, which retains more information and dynamic range in the file and allows for a lot more flexibility when editing photos. For video, you can shoot up to 4K at 120 frames per second for some gorgeous slow motion, and it's one of my favorite camera features. You also have access to ProRes and log video recording, which allows for professional color grading and post-production. You can shoot log video directly on the iPhone up to 4K at 30 frames per second, but for 4K at 60 frames frames per second and higher, you will need to use external storage. One of the reasons you can do this on the Pro models is because the USB-C port is using USB 3 speeds as opposed to USB 2 speeds on the non-Pro models. Additionally, if you use a third-party camera app like Final Cut Camera or Blackmagic Cam, you have access to some additional shooting modes, including a brand new one this year called OpenGate. This allows you to utilize the full 4x3 camera sensor as opposed to the traditional crop resolutions. This can allow for additional flexibility in post-production to utilize your footage in both widescreen and vertical formats, which can be super useful for someone like me. But what about you? For $300 more, you're getting a better processor and cooling system, you're also getting the best battery life ever in an iPhone, and then lastly, you're getting the Pro camera system with its additional telephoto lens and camera formats. And I think that's where the crux of this decision comes in for most people. And I think it's important for you to be honest with yourself and make sure you're actually going to take advantage of these additional features. Most people focus too much on what they will get rather than focusing on what they will actually use. If you're still having trouble deciding on whether or not it's time for you to upgrade and which iPhone to upgrade to, check out this video next where I break down every new feature you'll be gaining based on the phone you're coming from. Or check out my review of the iPhone Air next, where I break down all the misconceptions about that phone. I'm Nick Bradley. Thank you so much for watching.